Hi Aries, this is Heather, the medium on the mission, here with the August monthly forecast. This is for Aries sun, moon, and rising signs, and just like usual, I'll just sort of tune in to see what the energies I get. I usually, when I bringing through spirit, the spirit can be incarnate or discarnate, and so that's really my intention. So what that means is the individual, the spirit, can be crossed over to the other side, which is no longer on this earth plane and in the 3D, so to speak. And incarnate means that they are basically here on this earth plane still. So discarnate is over on the other side, and incarnation basically is kind of what that is. And so hopefully that makes sense. And so that's my intent, and so we'll just kind of jump in through the August reading and see what we've got here. And so just sort of tuning into the energy here. And I do have an older male energy that's coming forward, and he's got darker hair, and that's he's just sort of here with me right now, and I'll just keep going here. And so we'll just kind of see what card we get. And so just like before, we'll be doing the mind, body, and spirit reading, and then I'll pull an additional card at the end. I want to keep these messages for August. I want to keep them positive as much as possible. Obviously, I can give you a message and I can look at it from a glass half empty or glass half full. And so my intent for all of the August messages is to be positive. I feel like we all went through a lot of stuff with the eclipses, and then we're still at the tail end of Mercury retrograde, and I just feel like there's a lot of things that people are still processing. And so I just want us all to be able to kind of have some peace with the August time frame, and a little reprieve from the dramatics that was the month of July. And so okay, so Spirit, what messages do you have for the sign of Aries for the month of August? And we'll just pull the first card here and see what we got. Let me do a shuffle over here just to make sure that we're getting everything here. So, okay, all right, what message do we have from a mind perspective for the sign of Aries for the month of August? Okay, so Soul Tribe. And so what I'm getting with that specifically around the mind, it's this feeling of wanting to connect with people, like-minded people, the feeling of, especially having gone through all this stuff that we went through, it's good to feel like when we are going through all of these stresses with the eclipses, with retrograde, the feeling of having a connection. And that's really what I'm getting here with the Soul Tribe, that feeling of having the connection with other like-minded people, and the feeling of being able to really kind of open ourselves up in a way through bringing in like-minded people to that. And as I'm saying it, I still feel the energy of this man that's around, and I don't know if this is it's interesting because I get a hesitancy for the energy to step forward, and that's part of the message is what I'm getting as well. Someone might be dealing with a male individual. This could be a spouse, a friend, the feeling of maybe not necessarily feeling like this person understands your journey and what you're going through. And I don't feel like a feeling of any negative energy whatsoever. I feel like it could be someone that you're perhaps friendship with, again, romantic. It could be a boss, it could be anyone, but this individual, it's the feeling of like, I don't know if he understands me, or can I kind of open up myself to him in this way, and the feeling of the connected with the Soul Tribe. But I feel like that's really strong with this energy, and that's why I get the hesitant energy that's kind of coming forward as to kind of depict the dynamics of this relationship that's there. And so that's what I'm getting around the Soul Tribe. And now let's get the next card for the body. So what does Spirit have, what does Spirit want Aries to know for the body connection, for the for the month of, and I'm sorry, did I say that wrong? Mind, body, spirit. Yes, thank you. Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure I got that. So this is the mind. This is kind of what's on the mind at this time. And this is the body. And so what does Spirit want Aries to know for the body at this time? What is going on with their body, with the physical plane for the month of August at this time? Okay. Loss. Okay. Okay, so when I get this loss, again, this could tie back to the relationship that I'm seeing here and the feeling of a physical loss associated to this relationship. So maybe there was a breakup in this relationship because we weren't necessarily connecting, we weren't connected at that soul level, and the feeling of disconnect with that. Or perhaps this individual has crossed over, and that feeling of, will I ever have that situation back? Will I have someone who I can connect with on a deeper level, feel that connection with? Let me just see what else here. Okay, yeah, it's this feeling of, it's really a feeling, and this might actually be a breakup as well that just occurred. Maybe this is part of that eclipse and this feeling of pushing out that relationship or pushing out the situation. But I have to tell you, I feel like I feel an innocence around it. I feel like whatever loss, whatever breakup, whatever situation, a loss doesn't necessarily have to be a loss of a relationship, but it's a loss of expectation, a loss of maybe you had an expectation of this individual, maybe that they had them of you, and it's the feeling of sort of the loss around what you expected of that situation. And so but I have to tell you, I don't know, again, if this is kind of around the intent of what I've said, but I feel a little bit of, this is what is the current, what kind of, like we're at the end of July and the feeling of kind of what has gone through. But I feel like it's sort of coming away from that, being on the physical plane, it's that feeling of being able to process that. But I do feel like a turnabout with that. And I don't know if this is to come at the end of the month or what this is, but I feel like there's something where it's sort of kind of the burn off of the things that you went through with the eclipse of July, but I feel positive spin to it, I guess is what I'm saying. I feel like things are going to get better. It's interesting because I actually do feel like it's a situation where there might be some perceptions, maybe some things that are not necessarily the reality of the situation, and it's going through the lens of the mind and kind of the physical plane. But I feel like there's an actual, like, I just feel a different situation than what is being projected in the 3D right now. And so let's pull a spirit card. So this is really what Spirit wants you to know regarding this situation. And this to me is really kind of this divine source love. This is where there's purest essence of love and really kind of the healing around that situation. And so let's just see. Let me do that here. There we go. Okay, let me see what Spirit has to say for Aries for the month of August around the situation as it relates to Aries. Okay, there you go. That's amazing. It's funny because when I was doing this earlier, this one kind of popped out, but I had picked that one, so I just let it ride, and here we go. And so everything what I just said, the healing, this individual, this is where I feel like we're at right now, and we're going through that. So it's amazing. That's amazing. I just feel so I guess the biggest thing I would say is just be positive about this situation. It's happening for a reason. So I'll give you an example. There, a lot of times for me particular, I had a situation in my life where with some individuals where I kind of created a story inside of my head, the feeling of like, this is what it is. And with this eclipse, it really sort of changed things, literally, like just very recently changed things. That for a couple years I thought there wasn't a perception about being projected, when in reality it was my own insecurities, and therefore like the healing has occurred. And so I feel like with this, it's really this feeling of whoever this individual, and maybe it's not necessarily one individual, but a collective. I do see this man here, but I see some individuals in the distance as well. So there might be a tight-knit relationship as well as some others. But it's sort of that feeling of maybe not always having the connection with people, the feeling of kind of being disconnected, the feeling of, do people really understand me? Do they know me? How can I relate? And that feeling of sort of loss. And again, loss can be a loss of perception, a loss of an expectation, a a feeling, and it could be a bad. I expected that they looked at me a certain way because of my beliefs, and the loss was the loss of a belief system that no longer served me, and it changed everything. And so that's the biggest thing I see here with this, and it really is about the healing of that. And it's, the reason why I did this one, it's really kind of around the Ho'opono. Whenever I think about that and each little dandelion that kind of flies off, it's like we carry these things in life with us, these kind of things throughout our lifetime that need to be healed. It could be things that come in from birth. It could be things from, as like kind of the ancestral. It could be things beliefs that we've carried in this life. And this is really sort of like the healing of those things and letting those go because they no longer serve you. And so that's the biggest thing I get with this. I feel like it's going to be a really good month of healing, and just sort of defining your space and establishing the soul tribe. And when you really sort of let go and heal, you free up space for this healing energy to come forward and through a soul tribe. It's amazing when you sort of let go of things that no longer serve you, the doors that open and the people that enter your life, that the beauty that can unfold from that situation. So I just want to pull a Power Thoughts card. So these are the Louise Hay cards, and I just think, I think it's perfect because it's one of those things where it's like just the positive energy. I want to keep July. I feel like it's a good time for recovery from everything that we've been through with the month of August. And so I just want to pull a card from this and kind of put a bow on it in terms of creating what that positive month of July feeling is for you as well. So I'm just going to take this one that's popping out here. Okay, so this is beautiful. I am flexible and flowing. And so this says, I am open to the new and I am open to the new and changing. Every moment presents a wonderful new opportunity to become more of who I am. I flow with life easily and effortlessly. And so I just feel like that kind of really goes along well with what was said here. It's that feeling of, moving out of this space of kind of the feeling of loss and sadness that may have been attached within the physical. I really kind of consider this the divider here. This gets into the 3D right here, right? And this gets into more of what spirit has to tell you. And so if you look at it from that perspective, these are all kind of human things that we want. We want to connect on a soul level with individuals as we come in here, and we experience loss in this physical plane. That's a lot of what we experience, but it helps, in terms of our soul's growth. And so that's really what I'm getting for that. I feel like I need to, I do feel like I want to pull another card. I'm not sure why, but I just heard pull another card, and so I'll just honor that. I am going to pull it from, let me see here, actually, let me pull it from this deck. This deck is pretty amazing. I don't recall, Sacred, it's, there we go, I'll show you that. This is just sort of gets into, I just feel like there's a message here in terms of going back to the soul tribe. I feel like whoever this message resonates with, there's going to be some things around. I feel like you might be in the space of developing and creating new stuff, like in terms of also developing your spirituality. And so with that, there's some things that you're trying to get guidance on what that looks like and what directions to go and those type of things. And so I just feel like I want to pull one of these cards because it really, with my journey and really kind of deepening, and these cards really just do a really good job of kind of bringing through what are the things that we maybe not maybe not willing to accept about ourselves and our own abilities at this time. So these will just show what that is. And so I just bring through this message as well here. Let's see. Okay, I'm seeing a card in my mind. Okay, perfect. Okay, so bring it into form. And so really what this is whatever this thing, oh, that's interesting. Okay, this is kind of cool. So also too, I don't know if you can see that, and this like, bring it into form, this is really one of those things. It's a card of action and moving forward, and it's the card 41, and it's really about moving forward in a direction that can create this space for healing. And then, but I also feel like there's something, it goes with what I was just saying, there's something somebody's sitting on in terms of something they want to do. I don't know if this is around realm of spirituality, there's something creative, there's something, but it's bring it into form, and this is exactly what that is. Move forward with that. You're supported by spirit, and I have to tell you, it's really, whenever I see this card, I see this, let me see if you can see that there. There's a lion in the back of the knee here. I don't know if you can see that really well, but it's quite amazing. And so, I mean, August is the month, it's Leo the lion. And so that's really, this just kind of really resonates on a deep level here in terms of the message what I'm getting, and it's validated this, whatever that thing is. And so this just validates. Right before I said, Spirit said pull a card, and there's something that you're kind of hesitating on. I feel like you maybe have taken the first step. Keep going in that. And I'm telling you, this feeling of, it's almost like a transitionary period of stepping away from thoughts and beliefs that no longer serve you into this new life and this healing that can occur. And it's almost like, look, this is who I am, and I'm not going to make any apologies. And sometimes we make it be something more than it is. We put out a perception that, oh, well, if they only knew who I was or what I was into, that I may, it may not be acceptable. And so this is really just saying, go with the flow, bring it into form so the healing can occur on the soul level, and let kind of go of these fears and thoughts of loss that no longer serve you. So that's the biggest thing I'm getting there. I hope that was helpful for you. I just hope you have an amazing month of August, Aries, and namaste.